Hi, hello, my name's Wendy. I'm Wendy's Personal Pilates, and I just thought I'd record a little 10-minute taster for you of beginner's Pilates that you can practice at home, and hope you'll be interested in following Pilates from now on. Fantastic for our core strength, fantastic for our posture, and fantastic for our backs and general well-being. So this is nice and gentle and very easy to do. So before we exercise, just always make sure that you're okay to exercise and make sure that you are warmed up. And just simple warm-ups are just like swiveling from arms from side to side, softly bending your knees. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. That's always a Pilates breathing. So we breathe in to prepare, which engages the core, and we breathe out to do the exertion. So a good way to practice feeling this is pop your hands on your ribs, take a breath in, and then just breathe out. As you breathe in, your rib cage should be moving into your hands and your lungs are filling up, and then as you breathe out, think about pulling up the pelvic floor, which is this band of muscles that runs from front to back there. So standing nice and tall while we're doing the breathing. Make sure your gaze is forward and your shoulders are back and round and down, and your feet are just parallel and hip width apart. So taking a breath in here, which engages the core, and then just breathing out very slowly, roll yourself down towards your feet, pulling your tummy in towards your spine. So we're folding forward, keeping the chin to chest as we go down towards the floor. Breathing out all the way, and then taking a breath in here. Big breath in, holding the core in, and then just breathing out, rolling up. So we're just opening and closing up the vertebrae there, stretching them as we come up to standing, making sure the chin is the last thing to come up. Round the shoulders, I'll just show you from the side. Take a nice breath in, tuck that chin down, my core is engaged, and I'm just going to roll myself forward. Letting my arms hang loose, down I go towards the floor. Don't worry if you can't touch the mat to start with, the floor to start with. Just come down as far as you can. Enjoy the stretch in the legs. So I'm just going to take you down to seated now. So just bring yourself down nice and comfortably and just on your bottom. And then to start with, we sit nice and tall. Now if you need to sit on a cushion here to give yourself a bit of height, you can do. What it will do, it will help you straighten your back. And what I suggest you do is do this and then actually have your knees bent to start with. And then all we're going to do is some nice warming back stretches. So take a breath in. And then breathing out, pulling your tummy in there. So just rounding the back down and rounding the shoulders. And then just breathing in to sit nice and tall and pull the shoulders back. So breathing out to roll our backs rounded there. Getting a nice stretch in the back and the neck there. And breathing in to open the chest, breathing in to pull the shoulders back, and breathing out. And in. And then this time, as we breathe out, we can roll back. We can go back a little bit further, just holding the tops of the thighs there, holding the tummy in nice and tight. And then just breathing in to come up nice and tall, pulling those shoulders back. Try and go forwards a little bit. You'll feel a stretch in the lower back there. So one more of these. Breathing out. And breathing in to come up and stretch forwards. Lovely. Okay. And then from here, see if you can sit with your legs straight and have a little reach forward. If you need to have the knees slightly bent, that's absolutely fine. So taking a breath in, pulling that core in. Tucking the chin to chest, just roll yourself forward and stretch towards your toes. How far can you reach? Can you reach your feet? Fantastic if you can. Breath in here and then just breathing out. Come back up to a nice straight back, pulling the shoulders down. Breathing out to stretch forwards. Breathing in to come up. We'll just do one more of these. And then we're just going to take the arms out to the side, and we're just going to tip over to the side and stretch, breathing out as we go. But if you look, I've got a nice straight back in between, coming up nice and tall, breathing in, breathing out. And one more each side. And then back to centre. And then from here we're going to lie down on the mat and we'll do a couple of bridge movements, which is where we make sure our knees are parallel and hip width apart. Our feet are fairly near our bottom. And you just lie down there on the mat and relax yourself onto the mat. Make sure your shoulders relax down. You should have a natural arch there under the waist. So we're going to close that arch by moving our hips towards our rib cage. So I'm going to take a breath in to prepare. So that's engaged my core. I'm going to tip my hips there at the moment, balanced on the coccyx bone, on the last bone there, and I'm going to come through to the middle to close the gap underneath my waist. I've got my rib cage pushed down towards my hips. My eyes are looking up at the ceiling. Your head should not be looking behind you. If you find you are looking behind, just pop a little towel or a pillow under your head there. Okay, and then we're just going to roll the hips back out again, so we've made the gap underneath. I'll just hold my hands up so you can see. So, holding my hips, I'm just going to show you, breathing in to prepare. Breathing out, I'm rolling my hips back towards my rib cage. Breathing out as I go. Taking a breath in here, I'm just going to roll my hips back out, so I now have the gap underneath the waist. These are hip tilts. So I'm going to do this again, breathing out as I go, and I'm going to continue imprinting every single vertebrae into the mat as I lift my hips up and push my knees away. So I've now got my bottom up off the mat, hips pushed towards the ceilings. I pop my arms down so I can relax my shoulders down. Push up as hard as you can, and you get a nice squeeze in the glutes there and a squeeze in the thighs. So we're working the core, we're working all these muscles in the bottom and in the leg. So here, we take a breath in, and then we breathe out by articulating the spine and imprinting each vertebrae into the mat as we go. All the way through the waist, all the way through the hips to the last vertebrae, the coccyx. And let's do that again. So breath in here. Breathing out, roll the hips through to the waist. Coming up there onto the shoulders, lifting the hips up. Stretching up as high as we can go. Big breath in here, and then breathing out, we're rolling down. So if you notice, my knees are keeping very still, everything else is keeping very still. The movement is really just coming through the back. So we don't want the knees dropping open, we want them to stay there to the ceiling. Okay, so that's a really lovely one for the spine. You can practice at home. So now I'm just going to bring you over onto all fours to show you some cat stretches. Again, a really nice simple one for the back. So when we come onto all fours, we make sure our hands are directly underneath our shoulders, our knees are directly underneath our hips. Make sure you're kneeling hip width apart and your eyes are looking here just in front of your hands. Take a big breath in, which engages the core, and then I'm going to roll my hips forward, rounding my back all the way through the lumbar spine, thoracic spine, and bringing my head down to look at the tops of my legs. Breathing all the air out of my lungs, and then take a breath in to bring my back nice and straight and my gaze just in front of my hands there. So let's do that again. Breathing out, rolling the hips through, rounding the back there into the shoulders, stretching through the shoulders. And then just breathing in and look forwards in front of the hands. And then just breathing out. So we're rounding the spine, a really lovely stretch in the back. And then just breathing in and coming back to centre. And then we can add on here. We don't need to stay rolling around. We can change what we do here. So we could try and do Superman. So it's where we take a breath in, we engage our core, we put our weight onto one hand and the opposite knee, and we're just going to draw with our fingers and toes diagonally to the corners of the mat. Breathing out, and then just breathing in and bring them back to where they started. So same again the other side, so just breathing out, so pointing the fingers and the toes away, and then just breathing in to bring them back. So what you have to visualise here is one, that you are Superman, and two, you've got a tray of drinks on your back. You do not want to spill your tray of drinks, you want to keep them very still. And keep it there so your back stays really still and really straight, as your eyes are looking there in front of you. And then as you start to get adventurous, you can lift your hand up as I just did there. So taking a nice breath in here, we're just going to push ourselves back over our heels and stretch through the back. Lovely long line here, stretching through the back there. Reaching into the shoulders. If you're having any difficulty with any knees, if you're a bit stiff here, you don't have to come right down. You could just stop here and just stretch back and get a little stretch there in your back. And then just to finish, I'll show you a couple of things you can practice on your front. So laying down on your front, what you have to do here is make sure your core is engaged. That's your tummy pulled up to your spine. So what I like to say to my clients is pop your forehead down on the mat. You can place it on your hands in a diamond shape. Take a breath in and pull the core up towards your spine. So you're really holding it tightly towards your back, really, 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 really tight. And then release it back down. Breathing out. So do that again. Breathe in, put it all the way up, and then release it almost all the way down. So keep it held there. And then imagine you've got an ice cube slipped under there. Oh, it's cold, so you need to just keep it up there. Then all we're going to do here is take a breath in to prepare. Make sure it's all engaged. And then just breathing out. We just lift our head and shoulders and we just look slightly in front of us. And then just breathe in to come down. And then out to come up. And in to come down. Out to come up. And in to come down. So our core is still engaged. And then we can try and do something with the legs. So we can just make sure our tummy is drawn in nice and tightly. And we've got it just held there. And we're just going to breathe out and lift one leg and bring it down. Breathing out, lift the other leg and bring it down. So breathing in when it comes down. So we're breathing out to go up. In to come down. Out to go up. And in to come down. Now when we lift any limbs in Pilates, what we do is we push the limb away from us. So we're lengthening and stretching and toning the muscles. So it's not just moving the leg up and down, we're toning and strengthening the muscles. And this will really help you with your own flexibility. So I'm pushing my foot away from my hips, away from my bottom, so my leg is more toned. So one more each side. And when we do these exercises, just make sure you do equal amounts on each side to the body. So from here, I'm just going to bring you back up to standing. So we're going to bring ourselves back. Push yourself back and have a little stretch there in your heels. Okay, so just drawing your hands towards your feet, curl your toes under, and then just push yourself up so your legs are becoming straight. Just going to walk myself forward a little bit. So from here, just take a breath in to engage the core. So holding the tummy to the spine, and then very slowly start to roll yourself up, breathing out. If you've got the flexibility, do it with straight legs. Breathing out till we come up, so my chin is to my chest. I'm going to bring my arms up overhead this time, and my head up at the same time, and I'm going to reach to the ceiling. Reaching really tall, reach, 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 and then I'm just going to stretch to the side to finish this session. So still holding my core nice and tight, it just helps us to get nice flat tummies. And then come back to centre, and just to soften up the joints again, let's just bend the knees slightly, just to lubricate the spine, just get ourselves back going. So do always make sure you stretch out before and after a class. So I always add a little warm up and a cool down at the end of my classes. If you'd like to see more, I do have a website, wendyspersonalpilates.com, and I'm also on Facebook. I've got a Facebook page, Wendy Walsh Pilates. Please look out for more classes. I'm posting them every single week, or 2 or 3 times a week actually, on both my Facebook page and on my website, and I hope you enjoyed that. Please message me if you'd like any more information. I'm really happy to help you stretch and keep well and just healthy during these really interesting times. Thank you for joining me.